So the journey here that led up to my decision, and it's really a collective decision between my wife and I. Obviously, we've been in close communication throughout this process, and I guess what really led to both of us making the decision for me to run for public office. On a practical level, what happened was back in November of 2023, I actually sold my company. I owned a national advertising agency. I sold that business. And the idea at that point actually was that I would go into pastoral ministry. That's something that we had been preparing for a number of years. But as the Lord would have it, those doors were closed for different reasons. And so as we began praying for some redirection on what would come next, the Lord really put a burden on my heart to pursue public service. And I had been interested in politics for a number of years, but just more as an observer, more as somebody who, probably like you, that was concerned about what was going on in the world and that kind of thing. But as I began to realize, as I began to consider my 20 years as an entrepreneur, as I began to reflect on the different things that I had done, I began to realize that my experience very closely aligned with what's required to run a state. Just professionally, I've started 7 businesses. 2 of them have been acquired. I've worked in affordable housing. I've worked with the homeless. I've balanced budgets. I've worked with teams both on the small business side. I've actually helped to lead teams for major organizations as well, even international companies. And so I have a lot of experience that directly parallels what's required to be governor of a state. And so as I began to kind of reflect on that, as I began to consider the upcoming 2026 gubernatorial race, I had the time, I had the willingness, I had the experience, and so my wife and I discussed it for a number of months. We prayed through it and decided to do it. And so December of 2024, I filed my paperwork with the state of California, and it became official. I was officially a candidate for California's next governor. Now,